Hello all, I am R Naren from School of Chemical and Biotechnology, SASTRA deemed to be university. This is a learning capsule as part of the fluid mechanics course that I handle for the undergraduate chemical engineering program at SASTRA. This is a learning capsule 1 as part of module 1, and we are going to see what is a fluid in this module. The suggested readings for this module are listed here. You can go through either the book of Introduction to Fluid Mechanics by Fox or by Munson. Let me ask a question here. Can you think how you will define a fluid? You can take a moment, maybe think, write on a piece of paper that what you think as a fluid. Note that the definition should have be clear. There should be I would say a decent amount of clarity in how you define a fluid. That means it should be unambiguous. Okay, you should use the terms which can be interpreted in the same manner when it is read by all, and obviously it should be a scientific definition. What I mean by here scientific definition is that it should not be subjective in the ways of defining a fluid. This is just for you to guide on how you would define a fluid. I will pause here for a minute and let's see that some of the things that a few of you could have told how this definition is possible. Now let me list here the possible options that some of you might have thought of or come out on ways to define a fluid. Some might have said a fluid moves, and some would have said the fluid moves with ease or with easily. Some might have said a fluid deforms. So that means you will be able to change the shape of the fluid based on the container that it can, or someone would have worded that it takes the shape of container, right? Yes. Somebody might have said fluid molecules are loosely packed. Fluid molecules are loosely packed when compared to solids. Now there could be many more such options of this, but what I would now like to do is to give another definition of how I would define a fluid, and then I'll come back and then see how these definitions can also coexist, or what or how to interpret the other possible options that you have listed. The more conventionally acceptable or rather a more unambiguous way of defining a fluid is the one which deforms, rather it continuously deforms. Okay, but this deformation is basically a response. This is what a fluid will do. But is this response is because of what? Now if you ask, it is because of what? It is responding under what reason, or what makes it to respond? Now that forms the second part of the reason. The fluid continuously deforms as long as it is under action of a shearing stress. So that means if a shear stress acts on a fluid, then it deforms continuously, and this shearing stress can be just infinitesimally small. So that means you don't require a certain finiteness. As long as you have an infinitesimally applied shear stress, a fluid is that matter that can continuously deform. In another way, let me say, a matter that continuously deforms under the action of an infinitesimally, so that means a small shear stress is called a fluid. Now let's try to understand this conventional definition or an acceptable definition. There are some very important words in this. One is it should deform, but it should deform continuously, and it should be an infinitesimally small force. So this talks about the magnitude, and this talks about what kind of force is acting it. So that means this is what force. So this is the magnitude of the force. Okay, and this is like how long, right? This talks about the duration of response. So if you clearly see, these two are connected as what makes the fluid to move, and this is a response that is given by the fluid. This is how a fluid definition is acceptable. Now I would like to pause here, and you can think on what are the terms that we talked about, what it means by. So if we mean to understand this definition, we need to know what is shear stress, okay, what it means by infinitesimally small, that means in terms of magnitude, and why it is said it should continuously deform. So we need to understand this, and that makes our definition of a fluid. Think on this, and we will take it up in the following learning capsule on these three terms, and then we'll come back and then see why the other possible suggestions, or where are the other possible suggestions that you might have come up as part of your thought process has to be fitted into this definition. Thank you all.